Hey fam, I really wanted to share a little bit, I felt called to share a bit on spiritual hygiene and how that's connected to our physical hygiene. You all know that I talk a lot about how the spiritual and the physical are connected, they're not separate. Usually what is happening in the spiritual realm comes through in the physical. So for example, if as a herbalist, for example, if you have an ailment with your body, sometimes there's I would probably say like 70%, 80% of the time, there's the spiritual element of that as well. So you will be treating not just the physical, what do we call it? Ailment, for example, you'll be treating the spiritual element as well. So the connection between the spiritual and the physical, once we understand that they are one and the same pretty much, this can really help us on our ancestral and spiritual journey in general. So for me, as I have continued down my ancestral journey, also getting a lot closer to West African traditional practice and cultural practices and that kind of spiritual element of things, I'm learning how necessary it is to be clean. Obviously, life happens. Sometimes things are chaotic. Sometimes things are a bit of a mess, and that's okay. But I'm learning how important it is to have a clear and clean space to connect with our ancestors so that we don't have, and connect with ourselves as well, right? So we don't have this like fogginess always moving through our head space or our heart space. Also, when you begin to delve a little bit deeper into any spiritual practice, I don't know about you, but what I'm learning about the divinities, the forces of nature, the gods, the deities, whatever, they don't like mess. Our ancestors don't like a lack of cleanliness. And this is what I have learned through Ifa. If you're familiar with Ifa, then you know. For example, Ifa will, you could go to Ifa and give an offering and do everything that you need to do. But if you are unclean physically, if you are dirty, you haven't showered, your clothes are dirty, or, if you can't, or if your space is not clean to what do I want to say? To your capabilities, right? Or abilities, then usually Ifa does not stay. And I've noticed that the more that I'm working with these energies, the easier it is for them to move within the space of cleanliness. And also our divinities, our cultural forces of nature are not dirty, are not savages, are not gross, are not scary. They are actually very high frequency, they're very beautiful, they're very powerful, and they are clean. And they like that. So I wanted to reiterate that today, and the importance as well of like cleaning up after yourself in a physical way. I'm also learning for myself, like, for example, this is just an example, if your laundry is not done, a lot of the time that can block your money or what you are trying to receive. So for example, if you're wanting to receive some extra flow of abundance and you haven't created room for that flow, how is it supposed to come in? You want to clear everything out. You want to clear all the old dead energy out. Dust needs to go, like all these things. I know that it just seems like I'm sounding like a clean freak. I am actually, but there's a reason why I am that way. And as I continue down my journey, I'm actually really grateful for my mum. I wonder if she's going to watch this. And being the cleanest person that I know, because it's actually helped me in my spiritual journey. So I just wanted to encourage you all to like clear up your space. If you're needing fresh energies, clear up your space. Get rid of old clothing items, things that you don't need. refresh things, wash your bed sheets, wash your clothes. Cleaning up after yourself is important because you're creating room for the next person to come through. So for example, if you are leaving your I was gonna say leftovers, but leftovers of like your energy. So for example, if I go into a space and I leave it messy or unclean, or I've gone through an experience and I've just left everything like that, the next person will come into the space and they will have to firstly clear up after you before they can do what they need to do for themselves. So being responsible for your own energy is cleaning up after yourself, physically and spiritually. And for me, you can't get past that. Like, a lot of us do not grow up. I'm saying us just to speak in a collective way. I know some of us didn't grow up with that knowledge, but it doesn't matter. It's your responsibility to learn how to do those things for the benefit of yourself and your ancestors as well. And when I say ancestors, that could be your kids, that could be community. You might be someone that holds community space, and if you don't know how to clean up energy or clean up after yourself physically, then you're going to create a lot of chaos. It also opens a lot of room for unwanted energies and spirits to come in. So for example, if you're in your house, things are always messy, always left everywhere, and you're not cleaning up after yourself, it's easy for like anything to come in and stay there because you're not taking notice of it anyway. And that's something that I'm really noticing. A lot of the time, people are going through like spiritual situations and with unwanted energies, and I'm like, you haven't cleaned, you need to clean. That's all it is, really. So yeah, I'd like to encourage all of you all to clean up your space, declutter, do what you need to do if you're wanting fresh energies to come into your space. If you're not, then this isn't for you. But if you're really taking your spiritual practice seriously, your ancestral journey seriously, and care about that kind of thing, then you do really have to care about your cleanliness, your body, your physical body, your hygiene, and your space and the environments that you go into, and making sure that you're clearing and cleaning up after yourself, so you're being responsible and holding yourself accountable, and also being considerate and mindful of the next person that is going to come into that space to utilize that space as well. Let's not forget that Indigenous people taught Europeans how to clean themselves. So, and one thing I also wanted to add was that nature is super clean. Nature cleans itself. The wind comes through and sweeps everything off the plants. It rains all the time. Animals are constantly cleaning themselves. Like if you actually observe how often certain animals clean themselves, it's like constantly, it's frequently throughout the day. And so, yeah, I think we can take a little bit of encouragement, affirmation, and suggestions from nature, and also just our Indigenous and spiritual practices.